With us now is former Massachusetts Democratic Governor, that's Deval Patrick. Former aides to President Obama encouraged him to run for the Democratic nomination this year. Wonder how he feels about that now. We'll ask him in just a sec. He has said no, citing, quote, the cruelty of our elections process and how it could affect his loved ones. Patrick is now managing director at the investment firm at Bain Capital. From what we hear, doing very well, but right now he's joining us at the table. Good to see you,
Good
Governor.
Morning. Good morning,
Deval Patrick. We'll talk about your regrets or non-regrets a little bit later, but let's talk about the exchange between Kamala Harris and Senator Biden.
Yes.
How critical do you think it was for both of their campaigns?
Well, you know, it's a moment, and it certainly was a dramatic one. They, what I appreciated about it, and what I think struck so many, is how personal Senator Harris was in describing the issue and the impact on her and her family. I think she was also quite respectful of the vice president's record on civil rights and discrimination generally. I know them both, and I agree with Senator Harris that Vice President Biden is not a racist. I was surprised about how awkward or uncomfortable he seemed in answering the question, because he's answered the question many, many times over the years.
Many people thought he should have been better prepared because he certainly knew that it was coming.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's true, and you know, it's hard to be prepared for everything. But the fact is, and we were talking about this a little bit before coming on camera, there are lots of progressive Democrats and liberal-minded people who are uncomfortable with busing, and were at the time. And I think one of the reasons for that, having been involved in some of these issues in prior lives, is that in many respects we sent the kids in to do what the adults wouldn't do. We sent the kids in to integrate the schools because the adults wouldn't integrate the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And sooner or later we are going to have to confront the bigger question about the importance of learning to live an integrated life, the importance of that for the survival of our democracy and the success of our society. And the question is, where do you learn that? In school, in the neighborhood, in the university, and in so many areas that's been under attack.
Are you satisfied with Vice President Biden's answer on the busing question and the way he responded about segregation to senators?
Well, I don't think his answer last night was as good as the answer he has, as a sort of a performance matter, again, as a moment.
Okay.
I think his comments that were quoted from I think it was a fundraiser, about working with segregationist senators may have been a little too much given the time and given the. But I think the point he was making is, if you want to get things done in Washington, you have to be willing to work with people who don't agree with you on everything.
Yeah.
And you know, there is a value in a politics that says we can work together on some things without having to agree on everything.
You know a thing or two about health care. As governor, the model for Obamacare was actually implemented in Massachusetts.
Right.
Given what you know, do you think this Medicare for all idea can work politically or practically?
Well, I have to tell you, Tony, I kind of hear Medicare for all as an all-encompassing slogan, meaning it captures in an oversimplified way in some respects a lot of different nuance among the candidates and the campaigns. Personally, I think the idea of Medicare being available for everybody is a fabulous idea. The idea of Medicare being required for everybody is something I'm less warm to.
What struck you about the difference between the two debates? Because I know you know many of the candidates who were up on the podium. What struck you?
Well, first of all, I was struck by what I have always sensed, which is that we have a remarkably rich and talented field of candidates. It doesn't bother me one bit that there are a lot of them.
Do you wish you were there?
Yeah, were you struck by the possibility you could beat all of them?
No, that's not how I was thinking about it, although when I was thinking about it many months ago, one of the questions was, how do you break through in a field this large and this talented without being a celebrity or or sensationalist? And I'm none of those things.
But between the two nights, what struck you?
I thought that the first night, one contrast that jumped out was that they didn't speak about the incumbent president.
Should they?
And at the second night, they did a lot.
A lot.
And frankly, you know, and I think I may be in a minority in this respect, I don't think Democrats should spend their time on President Trump. It's not. I don't say that as a matter of disrespect.
Yeah.
The impact and frankly, in my view, the hurt and harm that the president has done to the nation is a matter of record. That is not what is going to win the election for Democrats. What will win the election for Democrats is a positive alternative agenda that speaks to how things will be different, not just how we will remove the incumbent and go back to the way we used to do things.
Could be another reason for you to get in the race, Governor Patrick.
No regrets?
No regret.
Okay. On the record. Deval Patrick, thank you so much.